Well, Gulnur Aybet joins us now in the studio. She's the director at Cheshire University at the Centre for Security Studies. Gulnur, good to see you as always. So we've had this explosion this morning then in Diyarbakir, only several hours after the leaders of the HDP were arrested. Do you think these two events are connected?
Most probably. If the PKK have actually taken responsibility for the attack, then definitely that would be it. But I don't know as yet if they have. But it looks like, yes, they're very much linked, yeah.
It's obviously early stages. The raids overnight and the detention of the HDP leaders, why do you think that happened now?
Well, there was actually an ongoing investigation, because first we need to put that into perspective. Ever since the immunities were lifted and the investigations and the cases were opened against a number of MPs, not just the HDP. So I think, that has come to culmination, and that has been an independent legal process. It's just happened to happen now with the detentions. But on the other hand, there's always a dilemma when the state is faced with the issue of democratic, the free elections, freedom of speech, and national security. And, when we compare it to the United Kingdom in the 1980s, where they were facing the height of terror of the IRA, they had a very similar problem in dealing with Sinn Féin. As we had much worse things in the UK, such as the death of Bobby Sands, who was also an elected member of Parliament, and also the fact that we could not hear Gerry Adams's voice for 8 years. So this is a dilemma, unfortunately, that every state faces, and there is actually very clear cases against the two leaders of the party for their open and blatant support of the PKK, but also, statements such as we rely on the PYD, which is an armed group in another country. So, these are real problems when a country is dealing with a heightened level of terror, and the National Security Council designated both, the PKK and FETÖ as terrorist organizations on the top of its priority list of threats. So this was actually before the coup attempt, because I know a lot of people are going to say, what's this got to do with the coup attempt? Actually, this is an ongoing process that was carried out before that. So it's coming about now. And just because the coup attempt happened on 15th July doesn't mean that the PKK attacks subsided. So the security threat of that is still going on. And these are responses and measures to, unfortunately, that is always very unfortunate when this sort of thing happens. But I think, the HDP squandered a golden opportunity by not being able to sever themselves from the PKK.
Considering the current climate, and you've mentioned the July 15th coup as well, is there popular support, do you think? Will there be popular support throughout Turkey for this move to detain the leaders of the HDP? And is there a concern that if the HDP and the PKK are closely linked, or as closely linked as the government say they are, then there could be more...
Well, they say they are as well. The HDP have not made any secret about it.
Could there be more reprisal attacks like the ones we may have seen in
Well,
Diyarbakir today?
there's been heightened terror attacks. This country is really on facing heightened terror attacks from both Daesh and PKK for some time. And as the best as they can, the security forces are taking precautions. So whether that's going to exacerbate or not, it's difficult to make an assessment of that, because I don't have the information, unfortunately, about that. But you just have to take the measures for your security if you're a policy planner, and at the same time take measures against any exacerbation of terrorist attacks. But like I said, this you asked about the popular support. I think at this point, yes, there will be a majority of people in this country are very much against the PKK terror, and they stand very firmly with the government. And there's been more solidarity since the coup attempt as well on standing with the government on national security issues. So I think for that reason, the HDP have also lost ground, but they've also lost ground among the Kurdish people in the region, because they've seen that, after 10 years of investments in the region, that's all suddenly gone away with this renewed, very brutal kind of urban warfare that the PKK introduced, actually. They started it. So I think, people are going to think twice now, and it's just very, very unfortunate that this party really squandered a golden opportunity.
Okay, Gulnur, thank you very much as always.